the Minnesota Vikings. This time we're going to get into the differences and the similarities between our franchises, where our weaknesses lie, and what evolutions are left to be had this week on Two Dads and a Chaz.
Two dads and a Chaz, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads and a Chaz, talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Most of gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air conditioning, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads and a Chaz, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads and a Chaz, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides them rings and putting trophies on the wall.
Trophies, y'all.
Two dads and a Chaz is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
Welcome back to Two Dads and a Chaz Holiday Edition. I am your host, Tyson Fauché. We are now joined with our Vikings insider, brilliant man, red-haired bandit, wonderful guru of knowledge, brilliant man, Andy Reisch. How you doing, Andy?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. That might be the best intro I've ever got in my life.
It just feels like stalking. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, he's coming to us live from a room in the library, and we are honored that he's here. We appreciate it that you rented out that space by the hour, and this is great. This is exciting. I got to talk to you about these fucking Vikings, man. They're pesky. They keep coming back. They keep winning games. Oh my God. Tell me you just watched that game that was on. Most people around here didn't get to watch it live because it was not broadcasted on local television.
Yeah, it was a great win. I did see it. So
Against the Seahawks, just to catch people up. The Vikings played the Seahawks.
Yeah. So for those of our friends in Wisconsin, including myself, that game was not on local television, but being a Viking fan living in Wisconsin, I have NFL ticket, so I can watch games. And so I did see it, which was great. And the Sea Chickens, man, or Seahawks, as most people call them, they fought. They were in their last, gasping breath, fighting for the playoffs, fighting for their lives, and almost a must win. And they gave us a good shot. But, just like most games in the NFL, single score, single possession type of game. And they turned it over twice and we didn't. And there you go. Ball game.
I don't know, man. It seemed like you guys snuck away with one on that. It felt like they were coming back. It felt like you guys were not going to win that game. You got lucky, as the way I see it. There's a template on how to beat your team, it seems to me. But I'm going to let you tell me what your biggest weakness is on the Vikings, and then I'll tell you what else you missed.
I think there is a template, but before we get there, Kevin O'Connell, gang, is the first Vikings coach in history to have two 13-win seasons. He's got 31 wins since 2021 that are single possession games. So we tend to be in those ball games that are very close, but we lead the league since 2001 in single possession wins. And I do give Kevin O'Connell a lot of that credit. However, we do have weaknesses. One has not been exposed yet, which I think the Packers could expose. And I don't think we're nearly as good at run defense as the stats would suggest. I think if people lined up and ran it down our throat, we're a little light. And also, another weakness that we have is our running back likes to fumble the ball.
Sure does.
Aaron Jones. And he's fumbled quite a bit this year. And that can catch up to you in a single game playoff.
Yeah, you're darn tootin'. Your quarterback does not do well if he is not going forward. You have Sam Darnold going backward, and you see he starts seeing ghosts. He has to be driving the ball forward. I've heard that about Patrick Mahomes as well, but it's really amplified in Sam Darnold's play. It makes him Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And every time that he was rolling backwards or running backwards, bad things are going to happen. The best case scenario is get that ball out of bounds because he's not that quarterback. If you have him, if he's rolling out and running towards the line of scrimmage, if he is running away from the line of scrimmage, there is nothing good that's going to happen. So it's a major vulnerability in terms of teams that are willing to put pressure on him. Doesn't have escapability. And I don't see your offensive line as a dominant pass blocking force. I see you guys as a really balanced, athletic offensive line, proven tackles, and some athletic guards that can kind of get it done at all sides, and a really great coach. But I don't know. Are you guys a max protect super team? Is that what you're doing with Hawkinson? I don't know. I wonder what would happen if some team went out there and played Flores back at you and just blitz 5 or 6 all day.
It's an interesting question. People don't do that to us because they're really scared of going one-on-one with Jefferson and Addison.
Oh, yeah.
Because, Kevin O'Connell will just chuck it up there and let him go one-on-one all day. But I will tell you the new trend that I've seen is they're doing 2 tight ends, a lot of 2 tight end, one running back formation. And they have a guy named Dean Oliver that most people don't know. Really good blocking tight end, but he's got good hands. They leak him out on the backside of the formation quite often because Hawkinson will work the underneath and zone. But if it's man, the receivers take the top off and go deep. So, I mean, it's a really interesting playbook. I think that's what neutralizes the reason people haven't blitzed us. But I will tell you, my biggest fear is like the Philadelphia Eagles going into Philly. The fans are breaking glass on the bus as you're coming in. The Santa Claus is there to murder you, and they blitzed everything. You know what I mean? Like, that's the team that scares me that we'll lose to, or even the Packers, right? Some team that just blitzes all day, every day. Tyson, we just haven't faced it.
We're going to take a short break.
Yeah. We talking Green Bay Packers football.
We woke up this morning and the kids will like play just like early on, and we can kind of like hang out in bed. It's like our bread and butter. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then we came out to the kitchen, and my daughter proceeded to, I think, put on nail polish, Rishi, but it was fucking everywhere. My wife was rather upset, and we kind of we found our way through it. But that was a new one, man. It was a lot to handle. I gotta admit, like I was a little bit overwhelmed too. I'm like, how did you get it? It's on the
right on the ceiling fan. You know,
like how did you do it? How'd you do it?
Yeah. We talking Green Bay Packers football.
And welcome back to Dads in a Chaz. We have been speaking with Andy Reisch, our resident Vikings expert. I also think you guys are vulnerable to like losing your entire offensive skill positions just in the style of offense that you play. First of all, your running back is Aaron Jones, who we all have very sentimental, real feelings for, although we're doing just fine with our new partner. Josh Jacobs has made us kind of, heal that wound a little bit. But Aaron Jones is known for cutting off the wrong foot, kind of being a swervy running back, ends up coming in off balance and just getting ass over tea kettle just nailed. And eventually any human body, especially an older one, that's going to take a toll. So it feels inevitable. To what degree is Aaron Jones going to get hurt? And is he going to be able to finish the year strong like he did last year? And are they going to be able to use him as an elite weapon, or are all those injuries going to catch up? I don't really know the answer to that. I love the guy. I want him to succeed as a human, but I would worry about that if I were you. Also, the style of play that I'm seeing out of Sam Darnold, he's throwing hospital balls all day long. To Hawkins, does he want to kill that guy? How many throws of this guy's running right into a brick wall? You're like, double coverage, jet it in there. Like, it seems like these choices are going to get someone killed, and it's going to end up being someone important. At this point, it seems like you got a lot of important guys, a lot of pieces on the field, run into some dangerous positions. Am I crazy in that assessment?
2 things. One, you pointed out something I should have brought up earlier as a big weakness. Aaron Jones, even though he hasn't had like a record year, being healthy in the pass game and the blocking scheme and the screen game and the run game and consistency has been huge for this team, like a big deal. And my big fear in signing him is that he was only going to play 6 games, right? And, our biggest weakness is if he goes down, we are super thin at running back. So that was a great call out by you. So yes, that is a concern. Sam Darnold's hospital balls, the guy has like blind faith in that arm, He's just it's too cliche to say Brett Favre, especially when you're talking to a Packer fan or a Packer pod. But it's the same mentality. I don't care how skinny it is or if it's double coverage or whatever. If I want to throw it there, he's got blind faith in his arm that it will happen. And today it paid off. We were down by 4 with 3 minutes left, he threw into double coverage into Jefferson on a ball he should have never thrown. But he's got a cannon, and it split the team, and it was a 50-yard touchdown to win the game, you know? So sometimes it bites you, and sometimes it wins. And today it won.
It was about 10 yards shy of that Brett Favre famous throw to Sterling Sharp in the corner of the end zone where he's rolling left and then throws it against the lines. One of the first big coming out parties that Brett Favre's a real quarterback. It was very reminiscent, that throw to Jefferson today in the corner. That was beautiful. Like, you can't throw a more perfect ball than that. But it is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Have you guys had to play from behind this year? Let me ask you that, Reisch. Tell me about some of these wins.
Most of the wins follow the same script. We get a lead in that first quarter almost every time. Like, we're putting up points, 7, 10, 14 points the first quarter and a half. Then the adjustments happen and we get slowed down in the mud and the other teams come back. And then in the fourth quarter, we're usually up by 4 or 7. And that's kind of the formula. But we have had a few games we've had to come back, and it's worked well. Listen, real simply on Sam Darnold. Okay, I'm just going to read some stats at you. Sam Darnold is one of 3 quarterbacks to win 13 games in his first season with a team. The other 2, Peyton Manning in 2012 with the Broncos.
Yeah.
Steve McNair in the year 2000 with the Ravens. This is pretty rare. When you look at the other stat that you should be aware of with Sam Darnold, he has 12 games this year with over 100 QBR rating. I mean, that's not a fluke. I mean, that's 12 games of over 100 QBR rating. That's top 5 MVP caliber stuff.
I guess I wonder why the national opinion on him is not the same as Jared Goff then. Why are people
never forget the Jets? You know what I mean?
Jared Goff was run out of town too for being a fucking weak-armed Ryan Gosling, dollar store knockoff. This guy was not, he just didn't have it. Now it seems like he's figured out exactly what he's great at. Also feels like Sam Darnold's been on a lot of situations that don't fit. The Vikings as a culture, to me, as quarterback developers, it feels like you guys are more looking for the lightning in a bottle of a magic time to either get Case Keenum to maybe just play the best damn year of his career, or Sam Bradford comes to town. Travaris Jackson gets a hot hand. He might get it done. So like, I know you guys are used to this, but like, I feel like it still feels like it's a hope and a prayer, even though you guys have a really consistent story. Mayhew?
Look, I think, in regards to Darnold this year, the reason he's not getting the same recognition is because consistency, right? You brought up Jared Goff. Man, he put up stats last year that were rather significant. Trickles over into this year. Yeah. Darnold has like traveled from like spot to spot to spot, and O'Connell has like gotten the best out of him, hands down. But Reisch, this opens up like another conversation here. I'm a little bit curious, right? Because look, Darnold has done you very well this year, right? You also drafted a rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy in the first round just this last year. And, he got injured. He's coming along. And then your GM thought, why not just pull the trigger on Daniel Jones just to call it Plan C. So my question to you, man, is how do you see the future, unfolding in your eyes?
It's like a giant reclamation project celebration in Minnesota.
True.
You know what I'm saying? But you guys are exactly right. Everything you said is right. And Sam Darnold is going to be like runner-up in the MVP. You know what I mean? He's going to make $40 million playing for the Tennessee Titans next year or something. Like, he's gone. We can't afford him. He's played himself to a price tag we can't afford. So then the GM went and got Daniel Jones for a bag of Fritos. When he's down on his luck, he's already running the playbook on our practice squad for next year's reclamation, celebration. and the rookie out of Michigan, that guy is, I actually love it because I don't know if we'll even see him for a second year. He had 2 surgeries on his knee. Yeah, the guy played 1 quarter of preseason football and has had 2 surgeries on his knee.
Never good when you have more than one surgery on the same surgery. That's always a very bad sign. You can ask David Bakhtiari about that. You don't like that when they have infections, you're in deep shit. So like I'd like to say that's probably he can. I'm hoping that he comes back just because you don't like to see anybody have to live an entire college career under Jim Harbaugh just to like play one preseason game and be done. That seems like it's that I wouldn't wish that on a lot of people. How serious can you be about this season when you know, unless you win the Super Bowl, Sam Darnold, you're definitely not coming back. Like you said, it's like Kirk Cousins times 2. Like Kirk Cousins is playing great. I remember you be like, we got 100 million problems, but Kirk Cousins ain't one. He's playing awesome, and he gets hurt. And you're like, yeah, fuck this guy. Moving on. Like it seems like there's no loyalty to that position. So that being said, that kind of slimy style of moving up on that, what are the odds that Aaron Rodgers is going to be your fucking quarterback next year and ruin my life and by repeating the inevitable cycle and making me, and then you guys having a great year and missing the game fucking Super Bowl by one play? What are the odds of this? Give me a percentage because it's not 0.
It's 7%. You can never rule it out because there's rivalries and they're real. But what I will tell you is they have a very sustainable formula that I think you're going to see play out, right? Kevin O'Connell, 2 years of 13 plus wins in his 3 seasons. And the 1 year that they sucked last year, they went through 5 quarterbacks, right? So, I mean, no team is going to succeed with that type of attrition and injury at that position.
Right.
So I think Daniel Jones is going to start the first 8 games next year. And if we catch lightning in a bottle like we did with Sammy Darnold this year, but I was listening to your show last week. Your early onset Alzheimer's of Jim Harbaugh, right? Yeah. So like this kid survived it. He could take the heat in the NFL.
He looks like he aged about 14 years in 5 years. Like his face is starting to fall off his face. Like you can see it.
I was laughing so hard when I heard that last week, but it's so accurate, right? So McCarthy survived that, and that means he's got to have some toughness in him. And I have a lot of friends in Michigan, as you guys do, but a lot of the folks I work with are in Michigan, and they love this kid. So I'm filled with optimism as long as those 2 surgeries on one knee surgery isn't what we think it is, which could be an absolute disaster for him.
Yeah, and then he's still a rookie who hasn't had any playing time. So
do you know what they're doing right now? So they've put cameras in Sam Darnold's helmet. And
what?
Yes, hang on. You're going to love this. So they've put cameras in Sam Darnold's helmet for every practice rep that he's done for McCarthy. That is what he's studying, is visualization of the plays. So that's his like training program to learn the playbook, is to watch through the eyes of the quarterback, like what they see on every play. Yeah, he's watching
the like Google Lens of
Sam
Darnold, just practice.
Yeah, not games. I don't think it's allowed in games to have a camera in there, but anywhere where it's legal, he's studying the film through the eyes of the current quarterback.
That's weird. Harvesting everything that Sam Darnold has to offer. Like, can we take some of his blood?
Hey, Sam, since we can't afford you, can we borrow a pupil for next year? We'll just take it out of the socket.
You guys are a pretty good team. I wouldn't say you're great, though. I think you guys are better than good, but not quite great. You're in the same boat as us, which is like, we're way better than good. But I don't know if we're quite great yet. What evolution is left?
I don't think we've hit our ceiling quite yet, but we're real close to it. Like I think like when you look at the Packers, they have like a whole nother level they could get to still.
Yeah.
I think if the ceiling's here, we're like right here. You know what I mean? Because our turnover margin is one of the best in the NFL. Our defense is the only defense in the NFL that have a turnover in every game. So what I'm saying is we're executing at a very high level, but I think from a talent perspective, we're almost at our ceiling. So the only thing that could take us to the next level is if we were to win out and get the number 1 seed, because I still don't see a path to the Super Bowl for us if we are the 4 seed. right? Even as a 14-win 4 seed, that's a tough ask. But if they can win out and they beat the Lions the last week of the season, then you're a 1 seed with a bye week and everyone coming into Minnesota. Now you got a whole new ceiling.
Reisch, fantastic take. I got to ask you, who do you not want to face in the playoffs?
Philadelphia.
No
It's a
hesitation.
terrible matchup for us. They can run it down our throat. They'll run it 4 plays instead of 3 to get a first down. It's a mobile quarterback, so that takes out a lot of the scheming of the blitzes that we're really good at. They don't throw it enough for us to get our interceptions that we rely on. If you're going into Philly, you're not getting a single call from those refs ever. I mean, I've seen this story. They're throwing glass. They're shattering things on the bus. They're breaking every law in this country. You get on that field, the refs aren't going to give you a single call. It's a fucking mess out there.
No, you don't get calls, but you get your tires slashed in the parking lot. That's a guarantee.
Like, we are just going to lose. They're going to deface us. We're going to leave abandoned and lonely and naked in the shower. It's a mess out there. I do not want to go to Philadelphia.
Tyson, that sounds like a real good first round matchup to me.
I'll be honest. That sounds perfect for us. I'll be honest. If you guys, I'll take Philly all day.
If possible.
When's the last time you played Detroit? And was that at your house or theirs?
Yeah, it was at our house early in the year. They beat us by 3. They beat us on a last-second field goal. Detroit is better than us when at full health. The problem,
I think that game in Detroit's going to tell you a lot about who you guys are and where you're at, because I went to the Detroit game for the Packers. I traveled, and I was pretty impressed. Now, mind you, they did not do well last week. They lost to the Buffalo Bills. But you're talking about 4-down play, consistent running the ball. The only thing they don't have that Philly has is the mobile quarterback. Pretty serious. So I'm curious to see how you guys match up against that, because I also saw your defense. It can get tired. You guys got some good players up front, but there's not a lot behind that. As soon as your starters get wore out, there's holes to take advantage of.
Yeah, it's a good assessment. They're 2 deep for 7 of the 11 positions is really strong, but there are some holes on the 2 deep on defense, and that's a team that's in the top 5 of defense in the NFL. But there's holes, right? And so Detroit is a better team when fully healthy, but they're not fully healthy. And the Vikings, a lot of the NFL is about health. Right? Like, let's be honest. The teams that really struggle sometimes just get hurt more than the others. And this year, we're healthy.
Real quick on Detroit, they got 17 individuals on IR, 8 of which were like starters. The fact that they've kind of like patched and like made their way, we're talking about a team that's completely all in right now.
They just lost Montgomery too, though. So they're definitely
Call it 9.
Sitting in a different ecosystem right now than they've been in before. This is championship rounds. This is what it's all about. This is the late after 10 rounds of the fight, deep waters, that's where we're at right now in the league in general. So this is how it goes. And in that regard, I think that both of our teams are pretty fortunate, both the Vikings and the Packers. We're bringing back a lot of starters. We're getting people back in mojo at the right time. We're not having to go in there with a hope and a prayer or a bunch of backups. I asked you this question before we did the show and we chatted on the phone as civilians, but I wondered, what are the 2 injuries that could happen to you in this team that the whole thing goes away? And you said,
yeah, Justin Jefferson, first and foremost, because he opens up the whole offense. He's the orchestra. He's the orchestra, right? He's not even the conductor. He's the whole fucking thing that makes it sing. Secondly, I'm going to change what I said earlier because you shined light on it tonight. Aaron Jones is super important, and we're not deep there. And so I'm going to change what we talked about the other night, because I think I didn't think through what you were suggesting. And Aaron Jones is super important to us, and if he goes down, which is likely impossible, we're going to be in trouble.
And also, if they get pressure on your quarterback and he has to play running backwards, I think you guys are going to see a completely incompetent 3-and-out machine on offense and a pissed off gold chain Justin Jefferson out there. Dude, he's getting 15-yarders for blowing his gritty waft on the guys. Did you see that? He's fucking got 15 yards. He was grittying at a guy and like started grittying at him and like blowing it at him. And he's like, fucking 15 yards. You can gritty, but you can't look at him while you gritty. And you certainly can't blow your gritty fumes at him. They're like, what the fuck are these rules? That's taunting if you look at someone while you dance.
Right.
I love this league, you know? It's fucking legislated all. I love it. Van Ginkel's an ugly son of a bitch. That guy, he looks like the guy who sells drugs to the wrestlers. Like he shows up at the Princeton club with like a duffel bag full of things that'll stick you. A bunch of weird red pills just sitting there, not even in a bottle, just all over. He's just throwing handfuls of people. That's what he looks like to me. He drives a fucking like pickup truck with a really loud exhaust.
That was the smoothest transition you've ever had, Tyson. And I could not agree more.
Van Ginkel is in some rarefied air, fellas. As you know, I'm a huge Badger fan who happens to be a Viking fan. So when you think about Van Ginkel, okay, now you are entering the lore because he was a great Badger, he's a great Viking. Okay, so you got Michael Bennett did this, Erasmus James, who was not a great Viking, but you know what? He was a Badger who got like 2 sacks. And I fell in love with him and bought a jersey. There's very few others that I could even list or think of. I mean, Van Ginkel, if he's not careful, I might taxidermy him when he dies and stuff him and put him in my basement.
Vikings fans are just different, I guess. I don't know. We all handle journeyman free agents differently, but that's the difference, you know. We're like, you're lucky to be here. You're like, I'll never let you go. These days are precious. You see, it's just a different approach, a different culture, really.
We're gonna take a short commercial break.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
That ping pong table. Did you get that patched up since last we played? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I forgot about that actually. I fixed a few holes down there.
I felt so bad. I couldn't stop talking when we left. And Bree's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, all right, baby. All right.
Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.
And welcome back to Dads in a Chaz. We have been speaking with Andy Reisch, our resident Vikings expert, what we need to know going into this in-division matchup. The last one we have to play against the Vikings, but maybe not. Playoffs ahead. Reishi, let's talk about the Vikings standings, because as it stands right now, if you guys, depending on how you do against us and then the Lions, that leads you in a position you guys could still take not only the North, but maybe the whole NFC.
Yeah, it's a big if, right? Those are 2 really good teams with Green Bay and Detroit. But if, right, big if we win out, we will be the 1 seed, right? We win all the tiebreakers. So that would be the path to a Super Bowl for us. I don't see one as a 4 seed. So I think what's going to happen in January, right? What's going to happen in possibly February is going to be determined in the next 2 weeks for us and how we perform. Green Bay has a higher ceiling than us. They also run the ball really well. So you had talked about a team that concerns me, and I went on and on about Philadelphia because I have like post-traumatic Philly syndrome. But I will tell you, also Green Bay has that formula, right? Mobile quarterback, strong run game, aggressive defense, hostile environment, well coached, committed to the run. Packers are a problem for us, and Detroit's a problem for everybody. So they're really, really good. If we can win these 2 games, we will be the 1 seed, and we will have earned it. But there's a lot in that sentence, right? We got to worry 1 game at a time and beat a very good Green Bay team.
Rishi, what is one thing that we need to know going up against the Vikings?
There's 2 easy. There's 2 easy things that you can really determine if you're going to win or lose against us. We jump out ahead of everybody, and that allows us to blitz all game, right? And we get turnovers. So there's a really clear formula to beating us. Win the first quarter and don't turn the ball over. The problem with that is we're the best first quarter team in the NFL, and we're the only team in the NFL to have a turnover in every game.
Wow. It doesn't seem to make that big of a difference on your outcome. So because you start fast, right?
Got to start fast, man.
Yeah. That seems like that's the key ingredient to a lot of people's success. Mayu?
Look, I think it was last year, Reish. I asked you what you thought of O'Connell, and I didn't think he was the guy. I didn't think he was the guy. And now you look at a team that is rolling through different quarterbacks, brings in Brian Flores, understanding that it's just like a really good coach, like a defensively. My hat is without a doubt off to him. Our two teams are way too close alike, more than I would want them to be. You know, you talk about first quarter, got to jump the gun. That has been like the Green Bay Packers all year, right? Defensively, I literally this last game saw Halfley stealing plays from Brian Flores' like defense. Tyson, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Line them all up to the line. And then all of a sudden, we don't know what's happening. A couple of guys shoot back. Like, it's very confusing. It's like, oh, man, it's such a copycat league. I get that. We are still figuring out who we are. And I think you guys kind of know who you are. And, man, best of luck to you. But I would love to not only rip your face off in about 6 days here, but also if we got to come in and if we got to come to you again in the playoffs, let's fucking go, dude. I'm not scared, Rishi. Okay. That's my point.
Vikings win this game. They beat Detroit, and they're the 1 seed. Now, I'm going to bring you back a few years to when an 8-8 Vikings team made the playoffs with Mo Williams with a fro, Randy Moss with a fro, Culpepper was out there, and we beat a Green Bay team in Lambeau. Randy Moss mooned the fans, and we were an 8-8 team that was unqualified to win that game. But it's super hard to beat a team 3 times.
Never been done.
I'm going to go 3 layers on this. We're going to beat you guys. We're going to beat Detroit. And then you are going to beat us in the second round of the playoffs. And it's going to be the ultimate redemption story for the time that Randy Moss mooned people at Lambeau.
Tyson, he always does this. He like sets us up where it's like, you can't yell at him because he's like it's in our favor, but I don't like it. Right.
He's a Trojan horse. He's a Trojan horse all the way. Like I don't know what you are, Reese. You're not a real Vikings fan. Okay. Because real Vikings fans would like come at me, bro, but you don't. You're like, no, we're very weak in that area. That's a great assessment. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a great take, Tyson.
I would go at us there. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that'll work. Like that's not.
Hey,
I mean,
I see it how it is, man. Like we never got payback for ripping your heart out that year when you were the much better team.
I'd like to tell you we hold grudges about stuff over a decade ago, but that's not where we're at, dude. We got a lot of bigger local fish to fry. That I think that there's never been a team that's beaten a team 3 times in a season. It's never been done. And this is something I told all the Detroit fans on my way out the fucking stadium as they're talking shit to me. It's like, look, never been done. Good luck. Good luck making history while you're at it. You never won a Super Bowl. Why don't you break a couple of things? It's going to be a big year for you. So we'll see. It's a lot of pressure. Hope you enjoy being the front runner.
This is not a one flash in the pan year. I think since when Kevin O'Connell is here, Aaron, you made 2 great points, may you? 1, he hired Brian Flores. That guy's blackballed. No one would touch him with a 10-foot pole. And our young, unproven coach hired him as a D coordinator and is reaping the benefits of taking a risk. Sam Darnold, that guy was ready to go to a retirement home. People were done with him. He was about to be on the next Baywatch episode on TNT as, trying out to be Hasselhoff's body double. And he's now in the running for an MVP race. So, and not only that, Mayhew, don't be surprised if old Narv Dog gets scraped off the scrap.
You're going to bring it up at some point.
Frying up those fucking dogs out the ships. It's going to be unbelievable.
He just get a job back. He's back on the Titans, I heard.
Practice squad. They're like, look, right back where you started. Literally. They're like, welcome.
At least he got some good airline miles out of it. He's been traveling. He's seen some really uneventful locations.
Let's be real too with Sam Darnold. It's not like you guys pulled something from the trash and just like built it up. Dude, this guy was on San Francisco last year showing Shanahan wanted him to stay, Rishi. Year before that, he's in Carolina where anybody can shine if you have a fucking arm and like a brain. But My point is your coach is good. He's just not quite as good as ours. And I think we're about to find that out.
Here, I got a wilder prediction about your coach, Reach. Let me tell you, I'm really good at just telling people stuff, how it's going to happen, and it works out that way. So here we go. I think Kevin O'Connell is a wannabe Shanahan. I think he sees Shanahan, and he's like, I'm the same as him. I'm just like him. I don't care who the quarterback is. I can make this work. Wait, does that guy work for Shanahan? I mean, I'll take that guy because I'm just like Shanahan. I'm pretty much a Shanahan in the North. I'm pretty much a Shanahan. So, like, in that regard, I don't need fucking anybody because I'm a Shanahan, and I'm not afraid of anybody. I'll take anyone. You want Flores? I'll take him because he is his greatest asset. He is going to have a hard time building and maintaining momentum off of this system. He's going to end up with a bunch of teams that have had a lot of success that everyone's like, that's a front runner. And they wonder why they can't get it done. It's because you fucking tinkered too much, just like Shanahan, and you just moved one too many pegs. And now it's destabilized just enough that you end up being this team that should be a front runner for like 5-6 years, but don't win dick in terms of Super Bowl wins. Whereas the Packers, we have built something sturdy, stable. We have developed, we have created, we have had everybody bought in. We have a totally different approach completely. And I don't think the Vikings were looking for that. I think they wanted the 1-year turnaround quick fix, and they got the right guy for that. The question is the quick fix ever been a Super Bowl winning strategy? Certainly not one that's going to hold on for any kind of dynasty. Mayhew?
No,
Sorry.
man. I would love to get Reish's take on that. That's a really good point, man. I'll, Kirk Cousins down there. Let's drop like guaranteed 200 mil, and all of a sudden Michael Penix is starting. It's like, what, stopgap. Rishi, what's your take?
Yeah, so actually, Tyson, you hit the nail on the head, but we're the opposite of that. So Quezzy, who's our GM, came in the same year as O'Connell, and we were over the luxury tax threshold and being fined tons of money for spending over the cap as a 4-win team under Zimmer. What we've done is what they've called a competitive rebuild. We have more salary cap room next year than every team in the NFL besides 4 of them. And we have a rookie quarterback who could be the guy on a rookie deal, and another reclamation project of Daniel Jones for like a bag of Fritos next year. So they have a lot of money not tied up in the quarterback position for the next 4 or 5 years. So our championship window starts today.
But I'm worried too, because the hot hand is the Detroit Lions have both a hot hand and have built it the right way. They've built the culture. They've done it from the ground up. And they have to have it this year. And you guys kind of have to have it this year. I'm just curious if one of you guys is going to freak out first, because I feel like you have 2 franchises that aren't used to being the front runner, battling to be the front runner, and then they have to deal with the pressure of being the front runner. And we just get to, I'm like so happy. Give me the 6th seed, give me the 7th seed, give me the 4th seed. I don't give a shit where I am in the playoffs. Doesn't matter for the Packers. We'll slide right in there. We could take the division. That'd be cool too, just for a point of pride. But like none of this pressure doesn't feel like it affects us the same way it does either teams in the North that are, these dominant teams with great records. Well,
Detroit's under a ton of pressure because if you look at the teams in the NFL with like the most wins with no Super Bowls, it's the Vikings and like maybe 1 or 2 other teams. Like the Vikings have been successful. They go to the playoffs a lot. They haven't won it all, but they've been to 4 Super Bowls. I mean, they're a successful franchise. Detroit's been an absolute urinal cake. And now they're, the loud, brazen, roaring Lions. And they're under a lot of pressure because, like you said, man, their window is only going to be open 2 or 3 years here.
I could see a handful of teams in the NFC that just won a playoff game underestimating them. I just feel like our redemption road goes like this. We beat some chump. Then we play you guys. We rip your heart out. Then we go to Detroit, stomp their fucking heart out, and go to the Super Bowl. That's how you reclaim the North. That's how you do it and take back history and don't let anyone beat you 3 times in 1 year.
If that happens, you guys will play the Chiefs because that'd be like 2 great champions. But if the Vikings go to the Super Bowl, they're going to play the Bills. 2 totally scorned franchises of bad luck and wide left and losing Super Bowls, right? How many Super Bowls have the Bills lost in the Jim Kelly years? So
Someone's got to win that game.
Vikings
You're right.
they're going to be playing the Bills. It's going to be like a bunch of scorned lovers left at the altar. Who could win?
Man, wouldn't it be crazy if it was just like one tragic situation after another? This is like a Disney movie.
They just keep missing field goals in overtime, left and right. They just don't keep missing for hours.
Battle of the Curses. That'd be great.
This needs to end. This needs to end.
Yeah. We're talking Green Bay Packers football.
This is by the Sesame Street Corporation. It's
Okay.
Hey, Elmo, are you still with us on Sesame Street, or are you living the normal life now? That's what it says.
Well, I moved off Sesame in 2019. It just made sense for my family. I couldn't keep living in that small, drawer of an apartment with 14 kids the way I got, So I decided I'm going to move out. I'll commute. Then the Zoom thing took off. I'll be honest, Elmo hasn't been in studio in about 4 years. I don't need to. I could do the green screen, stay home. I got a nice place up in Nantucket. And the kids like it. The wife's happy. And, I don't got to dodge homeless people. Every time I want to get out, I can't, it's easy. It doesn't smell like pee. It smells like pee on Sesame Street. It didn't. It's been there a long time. You can't clean that off at a point.
Yeah. We're talking Green Bay Packers football.
All right. Well, Reisch, man, as usual, we are honored and excited to have you as part of the Two Dads and a Chaz Insiders group. It's going to be an interesting last 3 weeks of the year, that's for sure. And the pesky Bears are going to be poking around trying to fuck people's day up too. So
I thought we'd lose that. Remember, Tyson, when we talked on the phone, I predicted a loss.
I know.
Sea chickens are tough at home.
God damn it. He predicted a loss on the phone, Tyson?
He did. I was trying to talk him up. I'm like, you're crazy. You guys are going to beat the doors off these guys.
Not a team on their last leg, man. Not a team on their last leg.
They definitely were back against the wall. They had to win that game. You're right about that. They played like that. They don't have it though, man. They don't got enough.
They ran out of
enough. They have a lot of good pieces, but that Geno Smith, man, I don't know. How far can you get with a C- quarterback? I can think of one Super Bowl team that won a Super Bowl with that caliber, and that's the Baltimore Ravens with
Brent Telfer.
Yes, that's the last truly mediocre quarterback that I can remember that won a Super Bowl.
Well, let's talk AFC real quick here, because we all agree we fucking hate the Chiefs, right? Nobody wants to see that storyline play itself out. Yeah, right? The fucking Bills. I'm a Josh Allen fan. I just let them get there and maybe lose again and rip their hearts out. But I don't know if it's the Vikings versus the Bills. Oh, I would love that.
The Bills have the killer instinct, man. They'll stomp your goddamn throat. They're done. They've had enough of this. There's no sympathy left in them. There's no empathy left in that tank. They're gonna just. I'm sorry, they're going to take the shot. I don't care if it's an old lady or a kid. They're taking the shot.
I want I'd like to see the Bills or the Steelers, because the Steelers are a bunch of badgers running around out there.
Dude, no one wants to see the Steelers. Rishi, come on.
You want to see Russell Wilson more commercials? That's what you want? More Russell Wilson commercials?
Look, you can respect Mike Tomlin and what he's put together there, but don't bring that to the circle.
The Steelers are going to be the best spoiler ever, and they're going to take out the Chiefs. That's my prediction of the year, and I stand by it.
Now that's a take. Okay.
I think that Russell Wilson's going to waltz into Arrowhead, and they're going to be like, this fucking born-again dipshit can't do anything right. He's going to fuck this up like he always does, and old Russ is going to give you one of those special Russ games. And there's not going to be enough complaints and funny walks in the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, to fix that.
I think the Bills and the Lions are the best teams in the NFL. The Chiefs' record is better than they are. They have not played that well.
Yeah.
And the close second tier to them, you're going to start seeing the Vikings, the Steelers. Who else is there? I mean, the Eagles are in that tier.
I keep saying, of those tiers you're talking about, who has room left to bloom? I think of it as like a loaf of bread because I'm a baker, right? Which
Okay.
one of these loaves is still underproofed and has room left to blow? Of those second tier teams, who is getting better? I'm sorry, the Packers are a one of one. We are the only team that runs elite deep route offense that can run the ball down your throat, can do a short passing game, can use a short running game, can run outside, can run inside, can run man beaters. We can do it all on offense. Nothing but young players that are under 25 that even if they get hurt, they can play through that shit because they're young. Still stupid and crazy enough to not have the weight of the importance of winning a Super Bowl slow you down, which is amazing to have these veteran guys on your team, these journeymen, these people that can appreciate it or have had the experience. You start realize how close you're getting to your dream and how long it's been, and it gets to you. It fucks up your head, and it's harder to win Super Bowls when you're old and you know more. Just ask Aaron Rodgers. I feel like it's easier to win when you're young, driven, have a chip on your shoulder, and are like this much quicker and more fearless.
The Packers have the higher ceiling than most, but one team I will tell you that no one is talking about that they need to be scared of is Philadelphia. Saquon Barkley is on a revenge tour. Their quarterback has been in the Super Bowl. Their coach has been in the Super Bowl. That nucleus has been there. Their defense is mean. They have a real home field advantage. I think Philadelphia, outside of Detroit and Buffalo.
You know what? You're right. And I just watched them today. I watched their quarterback get knocked the fuck out and then pretend he was not knocked out. But I watched the thing. I know what I saw. Okay.
I didn't see it. Did he get a concussion or what?
Yeah, he did. He got knocked out. He got knocked down to the ground. He went all limp and then he stood up and he's like, "Oh, I'm good. And they made him go out for a play because everyone was like, "I'm pretty sure you're knocked out." And they're like, "No, he's good. Let him in there." And then he had a great game. And I wonder, and you're an athlete, Reisch.
Yeah.
Bullshit. They all got concussions multiple times in a game. Like, there's no way you aren't getting up dizzy. I mean, I'll be honest, at my age, Reisch, I sit down, I stand up fast. I'm like, whoa, like that would be the equivalent of what a lot of these guys are dealing with a light concussion in their shape. So, like, I'm not saying it's not important. You shouldn't take it serious. But at a point here, these injuries mount. The style of play that they are running on the Eagles is closer to the Bills, which is a crazy fucking quarterback that at any given moment is willing to throw their body on the line. They're willing to jump head first. I don't see that on the Packers at all. That is not our situation. We have a much bigger appreciation.
They're more measured. Measured. You know what I'm saying? That's okay to be more measured. Like, I watched in the Seattle game today, DJ Metcalf, right? Great receiver. Everyone loves him. But he's always a head case. Like, he'll go like half a season without a TD catch. And you're wondering, how is this possible? Right? Mm-hmm. Well, the game's on the line. The Seahawks have the ball down by 3 with 56 seconds left. And DJ Metcalf, that last pick that Geno threw, was a perfect throw. It was a timing route. And if Metcalf runs his route with a sharp turn at the top, it's a 25-yard catch. Yep. Instead, he does this lazy loop-de-loop, doesn't even finish the route, and it's a pick. The reason I'm saying that is because that's why the Chiefs keep beating the Bills. The Chiefs in the playoffs play with precision, and the Bills do some of these lazy little things because they get by on their talent. I'm wondering if the Bills, after these 3 years of disappointment, have finally learned that they have to do the little things to win, because they do all the big things. But they don't do the little thing.
You can't put a leash on their quarterback. He's going to be a wild dog. He's going to run. He's going to take risks. I know he's tough, like tougher than he should be, like Cam Newton tough. You get hit wrong. You get knocked out. You're out in the playoffs. That's it. Oh, they don't have a backup that's going to come in and save them that is in this league that's going to play anywhere near the level of Josh Allen. So like I
Do
think
you
there's
know who the backup is for the Bills?
I think it's still I think they got Mitchell Trubisky over there, unless I'm wrong, and I don't care if I am.
He's actually a good backup for that system, though. 'cause it's a
Exactly, he
running
is.
quarterback.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's a perfect fit. You can also get Tannehill up there. Like they're going a different route. They brought in some veterans, it seems. Amari Cooper, on year one, Amari Cooper is a special player.
Yeah,
And he looks
can
at
you believe that? He just disappeared and now he's back.
Well, that's what happens. He reminds me of Romeo Dobbs a lot. Honestly, Romeo Dobbs and Amari Cooper, I think, are a very similar, steely, icy, focused, soft-spoken individuals that have a certain style that, like, when they're dialed in and driven, they're one of the best in the league. I feel like that's a major addition over that little white guy they got from the Cowboys that they've been rocking in the slot and all these other little leftovers and MVS and just a bunch of journeymen. That's at least this is at least a guy that's had moments where he was one of the more dominant players in football.
Right.
Still feels like McDermott is rolling the dice and doing the same thing. He's not it's like Mike Tyson going into the fight. I don't care what kind of shape you're in. You got to evolve at some point, right? You have to like come up with a new wrinkle, a new style. You can't just do what you've always done, but just do it harder this time, you know.
They're this close to a dynasty, not just a title, like a dynasty.
Yeah.
And I want to see it. Like, I want them to win it all if my team does it. Like, I want them to take that step.
I just wanted to beat the Chiefs and make a Super Bowl again. I'd be fine with that being, they'd still get a parade for that. There's a handful of teams that will get a parade this year for a Super Bowl loss. And I'd say the Lions are in that category. The Bills are in that category. You guys are in that category. We aren't. The Chiefs aren't. I think that there's other teams that like you lose.
I don't think the Vikings are, because then they'd be 0-5 in Super Bowls, and I don't see people celebrating that.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. We really are always lucky whenever it's Vikings week to have you come on and stab your own team in the back and tell us all your biggest weaknesses and admit that we're a better franchise that just do it better. And you guys are really just on a hope and a prayer. I hoping this year might be one of them years, you know, old Wizinator. Let's get it going, right? All right. Well, thanks so much again. Ladies and gentlemen, Andy Reisch.
So good seeing you boys. Rishi, always a pleasure having you on. T-Bone, go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
Two dads in a chair, putting trophies on the wall. Two dads in a chair, just talking Green Bay Packers football. Not exactly qualified, but answers the call. Two dads in a chair, talking Green Bay Packers football. We gonna break it all down, probably leave out some facts. We gonna make some statements that we'll likely regret. Most of gossip and rumors made straight off the top. So crank up the air condition, cause it's bound to get hot. Two dads in a chance, you know we live it and we live it right. Two dads in a chance, we gonna break down football for you tonight. Besides some rings and putting trophies on the wall. Trophies, y'all. Two dads in a chance is talking Green Bay Packers football. Yeah, we talking Green Bay Packers football.